So the modification hiatus is finally over. The only reason why it took a little while to get my stuff together is because my birthday was on the 27th. And so the reason why I waited was because I was going to have an influx of money on the 27th, and it being the 30th right now, I was able to order the stuff as soon as I got the money, and then bam, I got it on the 30th. So the first upgrade we're going to do is this glorious wire chain right here. This is probably the most tedious, but this is definitely the best upgrade you can do on the printer. Now I'm going to be using a 0.8mm nozzle head with my E3D V6 to make this process go a lot faster. I'm going to be using black PLA, and I'm probably going to be printing anywhere from 220 to 230 degrees Celsius. The first thing I'm going to do is print out 38 links. Now all of these links are pretty much the exact same file, and I'm going to be using the 0.8mm nozzle head, so it's only going to take anywhere from 4 to 5 minutes to print each of the links out. Now if you use a 0.4, you might take anywhere from 6 to 8 minutes, and a 0.25, well, you don't really need to use the 0.25 for this. If you are using a 0.25, you might take anywhere from 20 minutes per link, but you kind of want to do this real fast. Now I don't recommend you use one whole plate of these things, because if you mess up one of them and it starts to drag and move around, you're going to mess up a lot of the links. So just print one at a time, and you can monitor kind of what's going on. If you make one link fail, that's no big deal. You break it, you throw it out, and you make a new one. It's easy. So that's what we're going to do first. 38 black links. And so this is the black PLA we're going to be using. Oh, isn't it beautiful? So this is one link out of the 38 I need. So I still need to do 37. So pretty much every single time one of my print jobs finishes, this is what I do. So we're pretty much at the last steps of the top. Alright, so as soon as the print job finishes, I go right here, I remove the clear line, then I take the putty knife, pop this off, then I take the one that printed out previously, I put that onto the link, and then I let the other one cool, and I print another one out. And then the process just keeps repeating itself until you have 38. So, you know, pretty much you want this kind of motion with the chain. After you have 38 links, you're going to want to print out the connector that goes all the way to the wall of the printer, and then it's time to print out the X carriage. Alright, now the X carriage, the chain, and the last connector are all done. Next thing we're going to have to do is completely rewire the entire extruder going down into the ramp board. I'm going to show you how to do that next. Alright, so now I have the extruder right here. I've just taken it off the X carriage. So all you're going to need is 2 small screwdrivers, and you use this to basically unscrew everything that puts this X carriage on the printer. So what you're doing is you're replacing this piece right here. Now this is a bit tricky. To get to this screw back here, you're going to have to actually remove this fan. And when you remove that fan, it exposes this screw in the back. Now to remove the extruder itself, I've realized that a 2mm Allen key works to remove the extruder from this. All you're going to do is unscrew these 2 bolts, and the extruder comes right out. These are the order I took the screws out. These are the 2 fans that hold the fan in place. These are the nuts and bolts that hold the extruder carriage to the actual extruder itself. And then these 2 screws hold the extruder in place. So when all of that is out, you should actually be able to pull the extruder out, like so. So this piece will come off because this is what attaches to the actual piece on the top. And then this is your glorious little extruder. And then this is the X carriage you're going to be replacing. Now you're going to want to remove the belt. Let me get this real fast. The belt, because this is the belt that we're going to have to put on the new one, along with the limits. So I'm using a pair of scissors to cut these zip ties off. If you are this far and you do not have spare zip ties, stop and go buy some right now, because you'll be pissed off if you can't print. So you're going to need 4 of these things. When you unpack them, you're going to put them into the new X carriage, the 3D printed one. Alright, so now the bearings are in place. If your bearings are loose and or falling out, you're going to want to put electrical tape around this, and you're going to put them in there after you do that, and it's going to make a tighter fit from the carriage and the bearing. After you're sure they're not going to move anywhere, especially to shake them around like this, you're all set and ready to go to install the rest of the component. And it's best if you have the extruder wheel without any wiring just laying around.
so that you can manage the wires yourself. And this one zip tie, I'm probably going to cut off right now. Alright, so when dressing the new X carriage, what I recommend you start with is the limit switch. So the limit switch is going to go on this small hole right at the top right there, and it just lines up like this. Alright, so after you get the fan on there with the duct and everything, if you're lucky like me, the holes are actually a tad bit smaller, so you don't have to put the extruder gear on, put these in place. You can just put these on here and then lay it on top after you're fit. Next thing I did was put the active cooling fan on. Now, there is no right or wrong way to do this, but the easiest way, I'm going to say, is by keeping all the wires towards this direction, because they're going to go this way and then up into the chain right here. Alright, so now that I put the extruder, the carriage, and the fan back together, or, well, I put the extruder wheel back on, I'm about to put the actual extruder head in there now. Hot end is in, the cooling fan is in, I got the plate in, I have the 3D printed X carriage in there, along with the new riser for the wire chain, and, you know, back to the old extruder. The black actually kind of blends in pretty well. It almost looks like it's supposed to be there. Now, if I was installing this for myself with the E3D V6, I wouldn't be using these 4 quick connects, because these quick connects can get kind of bulky real fast. I've zip tied these to the motor wire and the X limit switch wire, and I've tied them off together. I've ran the motor wire and the limit switch wire back through this right here, and I've run them up into the first link of the carriage, and then I'm going to run all the wires back through, and then I get to run all the wires into the chain. Alright, so when you get to about here, your wire situation is pretty much permanent, so make sure you like the way you set it up. I made sure there was good airflow from my fan, and make sure I could get to all the wires just in case I need to unplug any of them. So what I've done to the other side is I've run all the wires through this small hole, and so you can force all the wires through there, and then you put all the wires through this first link on the carriage, and then all of the wires will just fall through the chain. You just take this piece of the stepper motor, and you're just going to feed it through the cable. And it's pretty self-explanatory. This is going to be the easiest wire to shove through there. Another thing you want to do is every now and then, whoops, let me move this over a little bit. Wah! Every now and then it's going to get jammed. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the tweezers and you just kind of move it along there. And then what I recommend you should do, take off this piece. And when you get all the way to the end, you're going to grab the cable as you're pulling it. Make sure that this is as straight as possible. And you're going to pull it, and then it's going to line itself up with this. I'm listening to an electro swing while I do this. So listen whatever your favorite music is and just start running the wires through. Oh, alright, so let me just tighten this last wire right here. Alright, there we go. So now that that's done, what you're going to want to do is just clip these together. So now all the wires are in the chain and all put through this cable. You basically have a wire carriage on there now.
So if you are confident enough to go inside your printer, rip all the wires out, and take your entire extruder apart, I'm sure you don't need me to finish this video with how to put the extruder back together with the wiring. However, if you do, I will have a video soon not only how to finish this mod, but also all of the wiring that's supposed to be for the ramps board. If you've made it this far, thanks for watching, and subscribe if you are ready for more mods on the Robo 3D.